What's up, I'm Pennie Penz of Unicorninbrooklyn, lifestyle blogger, and you're watching the Dreamcacher series.
Pennie, thank you for sitting with me. So tell the people exactly what it is you do over at Unicorninbrooklyn.
Okay, so I pretty much just focus on my travels, and I started it because I'm a Queens native, but I relocated to Brooklyn. Hey, Queens in the house.
Queens gets the money.
I relocated to Brooklyn. I felt like it was more my energy, more my vibe, more my groove. So I wanted something where people who were thinking about relocating from one region to another region could kind of go and relate to this girl in a new town.
Got it.
I fell in love with the food, like the restaurants there. So I said I'll focus on the restaurants. And it kind of led me to, okay, what else am I doing in Brooklyn? I'm dating, a lot of dating. So I share a lot of my dating woes. I inspire people, I make them laugh, and I do a lot of traveling. So this blog is pretty much about my travels, my food addiction, and my quest for a man. Yes, so that's it.
So in terms of your traveling, what are some of the more notable travels that you've gone on?
Okay, I would probably say my most recent trip last year. I went on a solo trip to Dubai, Thailand, and Cambodia.
Nice.
Yeah, it wasn't supposed to be solo.
Okay.
I had a girlfriend who was slated to go with me, and at the last minute she pretty much backed out. She financially couldn't afford it. Okay. I understood why things happened, and I wasn't going to go. I didn't buy my ticket yet. I said, you know what, I'm not going to buy it until she had the money to buy hers. But I reached out to a woman who I idolize, because she's been to like 70+ countries. Wow. Yeah, a lot of them alone. So she's a black woman, and I inboxed her on her Facebook, and I said, you know, Sonia, what should I do? What could I expect if I go alone? She said, fuck the 2 cents. I'm going to give you $20 of advice right now. Nice. And she just went in paragraph after paragraph. And she goes, I want you to book your ticket, and I want to see your pictures. And I booked my ticket when I finished reading that message. Wow. Yeah. So I guess to kind of shorten the whole experience, I was nervous. You know, I cried when I booked the ticket. I was like, am I really doing this? But I know I'm very friendly and very social. Yes. And we're women. We have women's intuition. And we're New Yorkers. Right. So I'm like, you know what? I'll be fine wherever I go. And I was. I went to Dubai. I met up with some people. I'm now cool with them. Went to Thailand, met some people. I wound up going to different regions of Thailand, didn't even plan. But I met somebody who was cool and adventurous. And I explored Cambodia completely solo. Wow. Had a great time. Met people in the hostel I was staying in. It was a wonderful experience. And I would do it all over again.
Now, what about the experience was it that actually drew you to that area in particular? Like most people, when they travel, like have you traveled before then?
I have, mostly in the Caribbean.
Okay, because that's what I want to say. Most people always just go to DR, they go to Mexico, they go to Jamaica, they go to Puerto Rico. Everybody loves sand and beach, and I plan to bring myself to something soon. Right. But what about that area attracted you?
Well, for me, I would say 2014 was like a year of a quest for peace. I was at a job I could not stand, which was just toxic to my entire being, and I quit it blindly. I was like, you know what, God, I know I have a skill set that'll have me in a better place, but right now I can't be here, and I just left. Got it. With that being said, I said,
no backup plan, nothing.
No backup plan. What made me leave was 3 weeks before I quit, excuse me, I had gone on a trip to Jamaica for a week. Okay. It was my second time there, but it was completely non-touristy. A friend of mine owns property there. I was having like crazy massages in the mountains by dreads, by rastas. Wow. I saw 2 tourists my entire week out there. It was very, very non-touristy. And I just felt like I need to have this peace forever. I can't explain it, but it was an aha moment. So I came back to work, I quit. With that being said, I said, you know what? I'm on a quest for spirituality as well. You know, I have friends who are like, oh, give it to God. And I say, you know, I'll pray, but I don't have that relationship my friends have with their God. I want to know what that feels like, you know? I said, I don't know how that feels. I'll pray, but it's like a blind faith. I kind of feel like, God, you have to earn that. You know, so I said, well, what is an area of the world known for their spirituality and for their peace? Asia.
Got it.
What's an inexpensive place to travel to alone or with a friend? Southeast Asia. And so I just went into my resources. I said, wait, I have a cousin in Thailand.
Okay.
So I knew I wanted to visit Thailand, but my main place was Cambodia.
Okay.
Because the temples that are there, I wanted to explore them. The temples are aligned with the constellations.
Really?
Yes. So just walking through and just touching like the walls and the ancient carvings. It was a spiritual experience, and that was ultimately what led into that region.
Since that's what your motivating factor for going to that area was, like, what did you do once you got there to achieve that goal?
The first thing you look at is airfare, and you basically base your entire trip around that. Okay. So I knew going to Thailand, I had the option to have a layover in South Korea or Dubai. And I was like, well, Dubai, I'm not really impressed, by the way. Okay. To me, it strikes me as Vegas in the Middle East.
Got it.
And I'm not really a fan of that. Okay. So I said, if I go to Dubai, I want to skydive. I want to skydive over the Palm Islands, but they were booked when I went. So I said, all right.
Have you ever been skydiving?
I have not.
Been skydiving before. It was the most
I can't wait to go.
Experience. Really? It's just one of those. Look at God. Like, you're just in the middle of the sky, floating down, and you just see everything from an entirely different perspective. It's different looking at it from a plane as opposed to being in the middle of nothing and just seeing it, and you're just gliding, and it's just, this is absolutely serene, and it's beautiful.
Amazing. I can imagine. That's what I wanted to experience. Yes, so I implore you to do it in the Palm Islands, in Dubai. But because that was booked up, I wound up saying, okay, I can just do a 24-hour layover here, and I'll do a safari. So I was in the desert, and I rode camels. That was a fun experience. Okay. After that, Thailand was my next step. Okay. Didn't know what I was going to do. All I knew was I was flying into Bangkok, and there were certain things I wanted to see. So when you get to Bangkok, you have the major tourist attractions, like the I forget the names of a lot of them right now, but certain temples, the big golden reclining Buddha, these things I knew I wanted to see. I just winged it. I said, hey, because whatever you have in store, I'm going to go along with that. And when there, I met another woman, a black woman, which is very rare. She goes, how adventurous are you? I'm like, very. Let's go to Phuket. Let's go. Okay. So we wound up in Phuket. I think it was like the day after I met her.
While traveling abroad, how do you get comfortable trusting strangers?
Well, I would say this. We're women, so we already have women's intuition. And then I'm a New Yorker. So I'm a good judge of character within like 5 to 10 seconds typically. If something does not feel right, I just will not do it. I would also suggest this. You know, when I'm home, I just party and drink and have a good time. While abroad, a beer is my friend. 1 or 2 beers, something I can kind of stick my thumb in. I know, like, put something in my drink or something like that. But with regard to trusting somebody bigger than that, I think it just goes along with kind of getting to know a person briefly. Like, what's your story? What brought you here? Who are you traveling with? And just taking chances. Sometimes you just don't know. You have to just give them a try, honestly.
What are some experiences, like things that you can say affected you as a person and within your development? Like, what can you say your travels over there did for you?
Oh, that's easy. This was probably the most insignificant, I guess, time to someone else. But I was exploring. I had just saw the sunrise I'm drawing the only blank right now, Angkor Wat. Okay. So this is the biggest temple, I believe, the biggest Hindu temple in the world. And it was huge, it was massive. So to see it when the sun is rising is an amazing sight. I think it's now one of the most, if not, it is one of the 8 wonders of the world. Oh, wow. 7, one of those.
Yeah.
But
it's a big deal.
It's a big deal. So I was walking through, exploring, and I saw a woman monk just kind of walking, doing her own thing.
I didn't know there were female monks.
I know.
That's the thing. Go figure.
You gotta go and you'll see. But I saw her kind of doing something, I guess, down the way, if you will. And I didn't speak her language, but I had a camera, and I said, can I take a picture of you? And she just walked up to me and smiled. And when you don't know a language, you smile. Smiling is a universal language. It shows you're friendly. So I smiled to her, and she walked over to her altar where she had incense burning, and she had these like bracelets. So she motioned for me to kind of kneel down, and I kneeled down, and she put a bracelet around my left arm, and I saw a couple. I had caught a photo of them a few minutes prior. I gave the guy my camera. I said, "Can you please catch this?" So while he caught pictures of the monk and I, she put the bracelet around my wrist, and she put dust on my forehead and just said, "Life, live, live." That's all she said. And I was just bawling. And she didn't know how much that meant to me. And it was so insignificant. So I gave her like $1 or $2 for like her blessing. But I felt like that was a blessing, like it was a sign, like I'll be okay.
Right.
So that was the best part of my trip.
So when you came back after having traveled, what did that change? Did it change anything of your like ordinary existence? Like, it's going to change the way you brush your teeth, but like, does it change like the outlook of anything back at home?
It definitely did. I blogged about it, and I think I mentioned like 10 things that I walked away learning, but
you did.
I did. So, but the one thing that really sat with me was that I don't need a lot of the things that I think I need.
Got it.
When you travel, you see how much or how little you need. So it blew my mind. This was kind of a challenge for me. I was gone for about 2.5 weeks with travel time, with a small carry-on and a backpack. And I'm a girl who has 4 outfits for a day when I go on vacation.
Right. Easily overpacked. Just because you want to be prepared.
Exactly.
Well, what if I do go someplace else? What if I do need a dress?
Exactly. It's like, why do I need this? But I said, I'm going to do it light. I want to really backpack. And I barely repeated any outfits. I travel very lightly. So I realized coming back home that a simplistic lifestyle will allow me to travel even more. We almost all of us live in excess. And while away, seeing how happy people were with having way less than what I have, it just showed me like I'm so blessed. I'm so grateful for all that I have, and it's a lot to a lot of people.
Right.
So that was the biggest thing I learned.
That's actually something that I wish more people would learn. I wish I could learn it as intrinsically as I think that I know it. Because you always know, like, oh man, I can't afford to do this right now, or I can't do this, or you know what, I can't go out to eat. So I'm trying to learn how to cook a little better, but I can see what you mean where we live in excess. And I'm like sitting here thinking like, what could I really get rid of? Do I need this Hulu?
Yes.
Do I need like
as much as possible?
Yeah. Like there are plenty of things that we can all just do without. So it's nice that at least you had like a beautiful experience, as opposed to a traumatic life experience to show you that you don't need all the extra things that you have.
Yes.
So in terms of preparation for your trip, what type of key things would you say someone else looking to travel should keep in mind?
Well, first things first, like I mentioned, you want to secure your airfare. So,
and not do something like Travelocity where you do like your airfare and then your hotel also.
No, definitely not.
Okay.
So what I would recommend, because I didn't use Travelocity, I used a site called Airfare Watchdog.
Got it.
So with Airfare Watchdog, you can plug in your starting point and your desired destination.
Okay, right.
So once you do that, you can have daily or weekly emails, and they'll tell you what the flight would cost you. They'll also give you like a range, if you will. So I saw the prices fluctuate over the course of maybe about a few weeks before I actually booked my ticket. But so first things first, you want to look at your airfare. Second thing, TripAdvisor is your best friend. You can see reviews of different hostels.
Okay, that's what it does. What does TripAdvisor do?
Yes, you can review from people who have gone there. And be wary of the reviews you see. I mean, I've seen people, oh my God, the faucet ran all weekend. Who gives a damn?
Right.
You're there to explore a country,
not to be inside all weekend. What was the point of you spending your airfare to get there just to stay in another hotel?
Exactly. So TripAdvisor's cool. I mean, they'll let you know like as far as like where your lodging is located in vicinity to like nightlife, things of that nature. That's really helpful. There are, especially for us, there are so many different travel groups. So you have No Madness Travel Tribe. They're a great worldwide group where there are over, I believe, 10,000 members. And you're never alone. You're never alone. Travel Noir, they're on Instagram mainly, but I believe they're trying to get into the Facebook social platform, so that's an option. I just follow whatever travel page I see. If I see a person has gone to a place I want to go, I'll send them a message. Hey, can you tell me about this location? I'm interested in traveling there. And a person like that will be more than willing to give you any information you want.
Absolutely. Okay, so in terms of, well, what do you do as a normal 9 to 5? Like, what is your job? What is your occupation?
I'm an HR generalist.
Okay.
So I sit at a desk and I give people all kind of benefit answers, compensation answers, run your payroll. Yeah, it's not fun. I do orientation, but it's life, you know? It's what pays the bills right now. It's what funds my travels right now.
So for those of us that have to work a 9 to 5 to fund travels and aren't trust fund babies or who aren't corporate CEOs and Christian Greys of the world that have unlimited resources, how do you suggest actually putting money aside? Or like, do you have an account separate for your traveling? Or, you know, and then when you travel, do you pull out your Chase card and just shop in Cambodia with your Chase card? Or do you do, you know, money exchange? How do you organize your funds so that you're able to go on these trips?
Okay, well, first things first, I have heard great things about having a separate banking account. I do not have that. To those who do, more power to you. I don't. I simply would advise to cut out expenses where possible.
Okay.
So first things first, we spend so much money a day eating.
Right.
Breakfast and lunch at work. I know I'm guilty as well. Start preparing your food on Sundays. Do meal prep. That will make you healthier anyway. And you'll save at least 50 to 80 bucks a week doing that.
Easily.
That's a big thing. I'm the queen of the brunch, the queen of happy hour. I cut a lot of that out because it's expensive.
Yes.
And it's adding to my weight. So no, I can't do that anymore. You want to be selective in what you do. You know, if you're social, you'll get invited out all the time. But just be selective.
Right.
What else can you do? What helps me? To not get distracted or deterred. If I know I want to go somewhere, I will plaster a picture up of that place. I knew I wanted to go to Cambodia, visual. And whenever I am tempted to go online and go shopping, or I need retail therapy, I will look at that picture in my phone, or I'll go home and look at that picture like next to my mirror. I know that's my goal. Right. So these things really help me.
Okay. So we're checking our flight and we're booking our flight separate from our lodgings. We're going to TripAdvisor to find locations that we can stay that are going to actually be peer reviewed and not necessarily reviewed by the people that own the sites.
Exactly.
Once you get there, how do you get a feel, and considering everything is in a different language, how do you get a feel of what is more your flow? Like, since you don't really know what's going on, like you can look at something and oh, it's a natural something that everyone here does. I don't know what everyone here does. How did you find things in different areas that were conducive to the way you like to enjoy your time?
Again, I did some research before. You know, I didn't just blindly go. I knew there were certain things I wanted to visit. So like the major tourist attractions. But with regards to like nightlife, getting in the mix. You want to stay where maybe the backpackers are staying. So I advise a hostel. As opposed to a hotel your entire stay. Because hostels are full of backpackers who are passing through, who have the same information you have, maybe more, maybe less. But you can get a lot of information from people from just talking to them.
In terms of not being that social, you know, caterpillar and being the social butterfly, what do you suggest for people that aren't exactly outgoing? I mean, it doesn't necessarily, because it's hard to say, because I know that I have a generally like aggressive personality in regular life, but I'm not exactly a social person where I'm not the, hey, how are you? We're both sitting by ourselves, let's be friends.
Got it.
It's just not my thing. I'd rather just sit by myself and eat and enjoy my food.
You're like me. Are you like an introvert, but you have extrovert tendencies?
Absolutely.
That's me.
Absolutely. Like, I'd rather do most things by myself, but I like smiling and talking to people on occasion.
Right.
It's just not often.
What would I suggest for people who are like that? Try to go to a region. Maybe start off in the Caribbean. It's safe. You know, you don't have to do a lot of exploring alone. But if you want to be more adventurous, let's say you want to go to Southeast Asia, there are a lot of tours So hotels and hostels, they'll have a book of excursions for you to go on. Okay. So what you can do is go with groups of people. Right, and you're going to be with these people all day. So you can talk when you want to or go off when you don't want to talk with these people. That's probably the easiest thing to do.
Okay, now in terms of groups, do you have any suggestions of, I guess, people that you follow or people that you, you know, go to for travel information? Like, so what are some of the websites that you visit in terms of, because for example, you can go to, you can find a Wikipedia page for almost anything, but then you realize Wikipedia is like audience generated. I could do a Wikipedia page about you.
You're right.
But it's just like, it's just my thoughts. How do you pull information from different sources, and what places do you suggest?
I would definitely lean towards Travel Noir, because they have really amazing pictures. And their actual website, they offer a lot of helpful information. I used to write for them. Nice. So yeah, so I did a few guest pieces for them, but they talk about traveling solo, saving money, how to pack, hair care products for the natural girl, things of that nature. That's my go-to. Other magazines would include maybe Ebony or Essence. Look for like their travel topics, their travel links. Parlor Magazine, they have a website as well as an Instagram page. So they have, it's dedicated towards Black women. So you get a lot of information from these sites and these Instagram pages.
Okay, so we've got some things to look for, but what are some things to avoid in terms of traveling solo, in terms of just being abroad, and then also maybe things that you found in terms of booking and accommodations that you've learned, okay, never doing this again, or that was a bad idea?
Okay, first things first, wherever you want to go, it's important to know the culture.
Okay.
So I learned, you know, going to Thailand, it's disrespectful to jab your chopsticks into your food. That's a sign of disrespect. Okay. Learn your culture so you're sensitive to anyone around you. That's first and foremost. Secondly, you never want to go anywhere without your passport. So whenever I left my hostel room, I would lock my passport in the safe, or I would put it in my backpack. But I always had a copy. A copy, not laminated, but I put like Scotch tape around it in case something happened. Travel insurance is key. You know, I wanted to have a great time and do every excursion possible, but you just never know. Something could happen. And it's very inexpensive, so it's a good investment. Let's see what else. While in Cambodia, so I went on TripAdvisor. You know, this hostel was considered a great location. Okay, now I'm a simple girl, but sometimes I like nicer things. When I walk into my room, I could tell my sheets had not been changed for at least a few weeks. Yeah, so that was interesting. So you kind of want to ask certain questions with regards to like bedding. You want to make sure you don't come home with bed bugs. The shower wasn't the cleanest, but I had flip-flops, so I made that work.
Oh,
that's universal.
Seasons, and I will wear flip-flops.
So these things you want to be a little bit more certain of. Okay. And if you're not sure, maybe don't stay there.
Got it.
Yeah.
So in terms of planning a trip, what's the first step that you should do? Do I look for a destination first? Or do I, because I'm thinking in terms of budget traveling, because I know I love to travel, but I can't exactly afford 7 trips in 1 year, or I can't afford, you know, elaborate trips. I'm thinking more, you know, and then when I do decide to spend my dollars on a trip, what should I go for first? Do I look for where I'd like to go, or do I say, you know what, this is my budget, and then pick from there, or what ways have you found work for you?
I would definitely say go where you want to go, because you can set aside the money for said trip. Once you do that, you want to save or set aside money for things you definitely want to do. I knew I wanted to fly Emirates. Okay. They're pricey, but that was a part of my budget. So the best way to do what you want to do, go where you want to go, pick a location, figure out what airline you want to fly, and then also you can squeeze in 2 trips in one by deciding where you're going to lay over. So you can either do a 24-hour layover or a few hours, but while you're there, you get that passport stamp and you have that experience and you're off to the next location. It's a few bucks more, but it's worth it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Because they know that that's what you're doing.
Exactly. So case in point, my layover in Dubai was slated to be 14 hours.
Okay.
But I paid an extra $276 to make it 24 hours.
Wow.
It was worth it. I mean, I did my safari experience, and I'm smoking hookah in the desert under the stars. That was worth every penny.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, Pennie, thank you so much for sitting with me. Where can we find you? Where can we scour the internet to get more of your awesome?
Well, you know, Unicorninbrooklyn is the website. I'm on Twitter at Pennie Penz, Pennie.